Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Now with the main headlines. Non-violence organization strongly condemns use of violence by the Burmese army. Climate change poses threat to increasing severe and rapid drought, new study warns. Pakistani woman arrested for claiming prophethood. Pakistan warns Afghan Taliban of potential strikes on terrorist hideouts. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers. This is Yunus Dawood and you're watching Shia Waves live from Imam Hussein TV 3. The international non-violence organization Free Muslim strongly condemned the repressive actions committed by the Burmese army forces towards the protesters demanding democracy, calling on the international community to urgently intervene to stop these violations. The organization said in a statement received by Shia Waves agency that many data from within Burma reported that within the military forces committed a massacre in the Sangyang region, which resulted in killing and wounding of displacement of hundreds of civilians. It also added that well-informed sources that an airstrike launched by the army during a gathering in Kanabalu district, central Burma, killed more than 170 citizens. In addition to dozens injured, human rights data also indicate more than 3,200 people, mostly civilians, have been killed by the military council since it overthrew the elected government in 2012. The non-violence organization urged the international body of the United Nations, led by the Security Council, to take action to stop these violations and to work hand in hand to those involved with the killing and the innocent of civilians to the International Criminal Court for legal and legitimate trial. A new study published on the world's leading interdisciplinary science journal, The Nature, warned an increase of the frequency of sudden, rapid and other droughts due to climate change caused by human activities. The researchers analyzed data spanning more than 60 years from 1951 to 2014, combining satellite observations with soil moisture data from the ground. The study's lead author, Cheng Yuan, said the professor at China's Nanjing University of Information Science and Technology said that rapid droughts are increasing, especially in Europe, in northern and eastern Asia, in the Sahel region of Africa and the western coast of South America. He stressed that these phenomena are dangerous because of their rapid emergence and because they do not leave enough time to prepare. The study also showed that the frequency of traditional droughts has also increased in most regions, and they tend to occur more rapidly in the study. In the study, that the researchers calculated the impact of different greenhouse gas emission scenarios on future rapid droughts based on climate models. David Walker, a researcher at Wageningen University in Netherlands, said that the study authors' warning should be taken seriously. In a commentary also published by the journal Science, that he notes that areas particularly affected by rapid drought are largely located in low-income countries, where populations lack the resources to cope with these extreme weather events. The concept of rapid drought appeared at the beginning of the 21st century, but it has been received more attention since the summer drought of 2012 in the United States, which came very quickly and caused economic losses of more than $30 billion. Police have arrested a Muslim woman named Sana Ullah in Pakistani city of Faisalabad on charges of blasphemy. According to senior police official Nasser Ali Rizvi, the arrest came after angry crowds gathered outside her home, demanding her execution for allegedly claiming to be an Islamic prophet. Pakistan's blasphemy laws consider insulting Islam or Prophet Muhammad a serious offence, punishable by death or life imprisonment. International and domestic human rights groups are concerned that the accusations of blasphemy are often used to frighten religious minorities and resolve personal grudges in the country. It should be mentioned that Islam, claiming to be a prophet, is considered to be a violation of the principle of seal of prophethood, which holds that Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet and there will be no prophet after him. Such a claim amounts to apostasy and, according to Shia jurists, is punishable by execution. Non-violence organization strongly condemns use of violence by the Burmese army. We would like to remind our viewers of today's headlines. Non-violence organization strongly condemns use of violence by the Burmese army. Climate change poses a threat to increasing severe and rapid drought, new study warns. Pakistani woman arrested for claiming prophethood. Also tonight, America and Europe concerned about China's decision to develop AI. Pakistan has warned the Afghan Taliban that it will launch strikes on terrorist hideouts within Afghanistan if militants continue to attack Pakistan from Afghan soil. The announcement was made by Pakistan's Defense Minister, Khawaja Asif, during his visit to Afghanistan in late February. Asif reminded the Taliban leaders of their security commitments and warned that if they fail to control anti-Pakistan militants, Islamabad will take action. Asif said that he hopes security threat to his country will not intensify to a point where we have to do something which will not be able to be our liking of our neighbours and our brothers in Kabul. The Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, an offshoot and an ally of the Afghan Taliban, has launched several attacks in Pakistan since the Taliban takeover of Kabul. Pakistan believes the TTP leadership is operating from Afghanistan. Asif hopes the situation can be resolved peacefully and without further escalation. However, he warned that Pakistan cannot tolerate the situation for long and will take strike if necessary. And now we continue with some short news. On Thursday, the Pope's envoy to Iran, Andrzej Yusevich, said a visit to the holy shrine of Sayyidah Fatima al-Ma'suma alayhi salam in the holy city of Qom. Sayyidah Fatima al-Ma'suma alayhi salam is the highly revered sister of Imam al-Rida alayhi salam. Her shrine is visited by millions of pilgrims from around the world every year, especially on special occasions like the blessed month of Ramadan, a month of spirituality that unites Muslims across the world and encourages them to visit the holy places. US National Security Council member Mazen al-Basrawi was appointed as a senior advisor and White House liaison to American Muslim communities. Several Muslim associations have extended positive remarks on Basrawi's expected appointment in recent weeks. This is a great step forward in the push for Muslim representation, a statement by Muslim Public Affairs Council said. He has hoped to protect religious freedom in the US, says a statement by the Council on Islamic Relations, American Islamic Relations. It should be mentioned that Basrawi has successfully defended the right of the Islamic Center of Murfreesboro in Tennessee to open a mosque in the town. April the 14th marks the World Chagas Disease Day, a parasitic, systematic and chronic disease transmitted to animals and people through insects. It is prevalent in most rural areas of Central and South America, where poverty is widespread, and is named after its Brazilian discoverer, Carlos Chagas. World Health Organization says there are approximately 6 to 7 million people infected with Chagas disease worldwide, with 12,000 deaths every single year. The organization has called on governments to provide equitable access to healthcare and services for everyone affected by the disease. During her trip to China, German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock criticized the state of human rights in this country, expressing concerns about the situation of the press and Uyghur Muslims under the Chinese government. There are a series of violations of the rights of Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities in this country, Mrs. Baerbock said on Friday, April the 14th, while visiting Beijing and meeting her Chinese counterpart. The comment was based on the United Nations report on the issue. It should be mentioned that some international human rights organizations have expressed serious concern about increasing pressure and discrimination against Uyghur Muslims in China. At least 3 have been killed as Sudan's army and paramilitary forces fight with heavy weapons in the capital Khartoum amid tensions over a proposed transition to civilian rule. The fighting started in the Soba suburb south of Khartoum before spreading to the strategic areas in Khartoum, including the presidential palace and army command. The Rapid Support Forces (RSF) and they took control of several strategic positions in Khartoum, but conflict over the control of key sites, including national TV stations, continues. It should be mentioned that military commanders have been running the country since the coup in October 2021. China has issued a statement that it plans to support the development of artificial intelligence. The statement has caused concern in Europe and the United States, calling for more regulations or bans on Chinese AI products. China's planned mandates for the ideological orientation of its AI systems have fueled calls in the West to regulate this rapidly evolving industry in this regard. Florian Tursky, Minister of Digital Affairs of Australia, said, if these plans are implemented, it is necessary to remove the artificial intelligence systems created in China from the EU market and ban them in Europe. On the other hand, Chuck Schumacher, the majority leader of the United States Senate, pointed out to China and spoke of the need for quick action regarding the impact of artificial intelligence on American society and the global economy, and emphasized that he is preparing a non-partisan plan for this purpose. The United Nations confirmed in a new report revealed on Friday that a number of countries will fail to meet their 2030 national education targets if they don't have a combined of $97 billion in additional funding. The report, published by the Global Monitoring Report of the UNESCO, titled "Can Countries Afford Their National SGDK4 Benchmarks?", comes as an input for spring meetings of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. The report focuses on the fourth goal of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which aims at assuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. The report's conclusions revealed that the decennial center, which will need additional funds and ways to source them if countries are to meet their targets, and strategies to increase the effectiveness of funding. Sub-Saharan Africa come on top of the large financing gap, $70 billion a year, according to reports. 20% of primary school and children, almost 60% of upper secondary school children are not in school, while 2/3 of low and lower middle income countries were forced to cut out their public education spending in the first year, following the outbreak of the coronavirus in early 2022. After 9 years in captivity, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNUSEF, has highlighted the case of 96 out of 276 Chibok girls abducted by Boko Haram militants from their dormitory in northwest Nigeria in April 14, 2014, causing international condemnation and outrage. In a statement released by Friday and reviewed by Shia Waves agency, the UNICEF confirmed that conflicts in part of Nigeria continue to affect children, reaffirming that thousands of them are subjected to grave violations. The organization said, citing local media, that nearly 80 children were abducted on April the 7th by militants in the Tsafe local area. UNICEF representatives in Nigeria, Christian Mundate, said that the nightmare continues today as many children are being still kidnapped, forcibly and recruited, killed and injured. We cannot turn a blind eye to the suffering of Nigeria's children. We must do everything in our power to ensure they grow up in safety, with access to education and the opportunity to fulfill their potential. Monday said in a statement, according to the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, TSN, nearly 2,295 teachers were reportedly killed in attacks, and that more than 19,000 were displaced between 2009 and 2022. The organization concluded its statement by calling on the conflicting parties to abide and respect international laws and to prioritize children's rights and safety. We have reached the end of today's Shia Waves show. Let's remind our viewers of today's headlines. Non-violence organization strongly condemns use of violence by the Burmese army. Climate change poses threat to increasing severe and rapid drought, a new study warns. Pakistani woman arrested for claiming prophethood. Pakistan warns Afghan Taliban of potential strikes on terrorist hideouts. America and Europe concerned about China's decision to develop AI. Additional funds needed for some countries to meet educational goals, UN report reveals. Nigeria, after 9 years in captivity, UNICEF remembers Chibok girls. You can view the latest news on Shia Waves website, and you can send news of your city or country to be published on our news agency. Contact us on the numbers at the bottom of the screen. This is the end of today's news. Thank you for watching, and we pray to Allah the Almighty to hasten the appearance of the Master of our time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.